Hello, my name is Kit Cabello, one of the co-founders of Veracity In Defiance, and I'm here in East Chicago. Today I'm joined with Bishop Tavis Grant. Thank you for joining us here at Veracity In Defiance. We're happy to have you here, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so please, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm the pastor of the Greater First Church, Baptist Church here in East Chicago. Church is nearly 60 years old. Was started here in the Calumet region, right here. My children, my family grew up here for nearly 10 years and been ministering here for nearly 25 years. So this is home for us.
All right, now obviously there's the Indiana State Department here is testing for lead poisoning, and there's a great concern for the community. What's happening here in regards to lead poisoning?
Well, there are incredible high levels of lead, and not enough of the children nor the adults have been tested. We're very concerned that what started out as a process of remediation has been accelerated to a demolition and disposition of nearly 1,200 people here in the West Calumet complex, which, by the way, sits on a Superfund site, which perhaps has 3 or 4 times more families in the outlying areas of the West Calumet. And so we're concerned that 600 children are being relocated to another school with no access to health care, no medical protocol, no primary doctor follow-up or follow-through. It is a very disheartening process to be told in less than 10 days that you got to move in 60 days to somewhere other than here. And those of us who live here, who come from here, are gravely concerned about the children and the families that are being displaced, who quite frankly don't know where to go and don't know what to do.
Now, when you say people moving out, has there been actual word from the state of Indiana saying that all people need to move out of this vicinity immediately? Has there been any word from that from the Indiana state government?
Not necessarily from the Indiana state government, but certainly from the East Chicago Housing Authority, from HUD representatives, and from EPA. EPA has made it clear that for them to do the cleanup, it is going to create a hazardous situation for children and residents, and to move ahead with that process, you're going to have to relocate these residents. It is very much a concern that we have not heard from the Indiana State Department of Health. We've not heard from the Indiana State Department of Education. We've not heard from Health and Human Services for the state. We've not heard from Mike Pence, the governor. Quite frankly, we think that he should come and meet these residents. You know, our state right now is sitting on about $2 billion of tax dollars in a surplus that were created because our state legislators, there's a supermajority of Republicans in both the state and the Senate and the House of Representatives, state representatives, who cut programs for heating, for homeless, educational, special services. They cut those programs to create this surplus. And while we're trying to get money from the federal government, we can just go 2 hours downstate to Indianapolis, and Mike Pence, by executive order, could bring some much-needed revenue and resource to this community to help this transition be as seamless and stressless as possible.
Now, obviously, being a bishop of this church, you're a community leader. When has there been first signs of lead poisoning in the soil and in this community at all? Like, how many years? How long has it been here?
Residents have known for the longest, at a minimum 25 years. They've lived in this manufacturing area. They've lived with these plants. There are some residents that still live that remember this area being a swamp area. And so they know and are familiar with it. And many of the elected officials grew up in East Chicago, knew the nature of and the potential of contamination, both air, land, and water in East Chicago, and particularly here in West Calumet. And so a lot of the fixing the blame needs to be shifted to fixing the problem in terms of the decision makers now The individuals who can make decisions now must do what their predecessors did not do, and that is make the right decisions now, and to ensure these residents get the right information now, the much needed resources now, as well as holding these corporations accountable. There's a $28 million consent decree for remediation. I want to know who negotiated that agreement, because they did not include any resources to these families, any means of making them whole, which now leaves them to have to go via tort or civil litigation to try to get some type of financial compensation, if you will. But that does not replace the time nor the value of health. And these children, many of whom have tested way beyond the national norm, acceptable, unacceptable levels of lead, need access to immediate health care and treatment, to give back some quality of life, and hopefully give these families a fresh start.
All right, and let me ask this last question. If the state and federal government don't act, what is this community willing to do?
Well, we're going to go to Indianapolis. We're going to take this straight to 1700 Pennsylvania Avenue. This is a national health crisis, a national public health crisis. And this area is emblematic of communities all over the United States that have a pattern. They are people of color, they are poor, they are unemployed, undereducated, and are treated as less than human in many respects. And the opportunity we have with taking this to the nation is empowering communities like this, grassroots, teaching them how to organize, teaching them how to verbalize and vocalize their pain and their angst, and turning their pain into power. We plan on doing that, and we're going to make sure that these families get what they need on the front end, so they can have a better opportunity of a fresh start.
Now, for our viewers and subscribers, where can they go online to help you guys out and get informed about what's happening here?
They can go to www.theantioch.org, www.theantioch.org, or they can go to Facebook, Bishop Tavis Grant on Facebook, or East Chicago residents on Facebook. We need all the help, all the assistance, and anybody can help tell our story, tell it loud and tell it proud.
All right, well, thank you so much, Bishop Tavis Grant. I'm very happy to have you here, and this is Kid Cabello in East Chicago with Veracity In Defiance signing out. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you, sir.